What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we are doing our best of March list. I'm joined by Dylan, aka Screeching Bottle Rocket from DyingScene.com. As always, Dylan, April 1st, which was yesterday, is quickly becoming my least favorite day of the year. I don't know about you, but every single band posting that they're fake breaking up or a fake tour, I was tired of it at like 7 a.m. What about you? I'm just glad it's April 2nd.
Yeah, it was fun. I woke up and the first thing I saw, Less Than Jake. Yep. Oh, we're reissuing Hello Rockview on floppy disk. And it's 14 floppy disks or something. And for half a second, I was in belief that was true because Less Than Jake's quirky like that. But I quickly realized I was led astray.
Yeah, see, yeah, I don't know about like Less Than Jake fans, you know, you and I included, we probably would have purchased it because it would have displayed kind of cool. But I was up yesterday at like 3:30 or 4 in the morning. And by the time I got to that Less Than Jake one, I was like, okay, this is like the fifth thing I clicked on that isn't real. So I was done by then. But let's get into the good stuff from March. There's nothing good about yesterday. Let's just put that out there. We're going to talk about albums first. And the first record we want to hit, Dylan, is Thousand Oaks and their record On a Wing and a Prayer. Was this independently released? I don't see a label down here.
I believe so. It's a very, very, very good album. If you like technical melodic skate punk, like a Wilhelm Scream, This Is a Standoff, Mute, those kind of bands. This album is fantastic. These guys used to be in a band called Jet Market. They've been doing this band for a while, and this is like their third full-length album, I believe. I think it might be their best yet. It came out of nowhere, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised when it came out. I've been listening to it all month.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were Jet Market. I had wrote down Jet Market for when we do Wilhelm Scream for fans of, because that album is killer. But this album is really good too. It's definitely my favorite by them. And yeah, it did come out of nowhere because I think this last one that came out in or the EP in 2020, I think there was a lot of build up for this. We had a single first for it. And one thing I do want to shout out, I'm a big fan when bands keep the same kind of aesthetic for all their releases. It makes it way cooler if you collect anything. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites of the year as well. I think 2023 so far is the year of skate punk. We've had Colors Fade. We've had the One of Us record. Now this one following it up. So if you like that other stuff too, and if you like what Dylan pointed out, go check out this Thousand Oaks album. So let's get into the second one here. I think an album that a lot of people were looking forward to. One of the most popular punk bands out there right now. We've got the Bouncing Souls, 10 Stories High. Their first album since 2016-ish. What colorway did you get? They had like 15 colors of this thing.
I got the most limited one because I'm a collector degenerate. I just always pick the most limited one.
Yeah. I mean, that's badass, though. That's the coolest one.
Where am I at? There we go.
So it's a half blue, half yellow, black
splatter.
Yeah, that's sweet. I didn't grab this one yet. I think that our local store is going to have it, so I'm waiting for them to get it in stock. But Dylan, you heard this like early January. You were telling me it's the best since Anchors Away. So let me hear your full thoughts. I know you got a nice, beautiful written review over on Dying Scene, but just give me the bullet points what you like about this one.
Yeah, so I've listened to this probably like a fucking 100 times in January, and then I kind of put it down and moved on to other things. And now that my record showed up, I've been listening to it again. I like every song except there's two in the middle. There's Shannon's song and Andy and Jackie. Yep. I don't really like those ones that much. The rest of the album is great. It's not very fast. There are a few fast songs like Back to Better and Another Night in Denver, some of the faster ones. But the choruses are really good. There's some of those little like parts, lead guitar parts where it's just the Pete picking that one note, you know, like like it works. It's a Back to Basics Bouncing Souls album. I really like it. So yeah, it's my favorite since Anchor's, maybe tied with like the Gold album.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would put Gold a little above this. Andy and Jackie should have been cut from the record. I'll say that song is not very good. The little interlude part of that, I don't know if it's a joke. I texted you about it, but kind of ruins it. My favorite songs in here, I think I'm with you. I like 10 Stories High, True Believer Radio, and I think To Be Human is another one of the faster ones. I really like this one too on the back half. But I mean, it's the Bouncing Souls record. You know what you're gonna get from it. It's a great pop punk anthemic record. So if you haven't checked it out and you're watching this, I think most people have. Just go give it a listen. It is probably the best since Gold record in 2006. So definitely worth a listen.
I think True Believer Radio is probably my favorite song on the album.
I think so too. I'm teetering back with that one and To Be Human as my favorite, but I've only had this for a week. I'm not like Dylan, who's got 3 months. So I still have to spend some time with it. I haven't even got my playlist picks out on this one yet.
Next, we got a new band, not as established as the Souls. We got Bridge the Gap, hottest new band in skate punk. Their debut album, Secret Combinations, produced by Bill Stevenson at the Blasting Room. If you watch the videos or you read Dying Scene, you know that I've been pimping these guys out for the better part of the last 3 months. And the album lives up to the hype. Check out my review of it. I love it. It's got a good mix of like all their influence. I think there's some songs that are like harder, like Pennywise-esque. And then there's more No Use, Strung Out, Lagwagging kind of stuff, very melodic, lots of woes and oohs and ahs, and a lot of big choruses. So this is an awesome album. I even like the slower songs. I think some of the slower songs are some of the best on the album.
Yeah, so my thought when I first heard this is that I wish I would have heard this before we did our No Use for a Name comparison picks, if you like No Use for a Name, because I hear a ton of that on here. I definitely hear what you're saying too. Right now, Dylan, if I don't give reviews, I don't give scores, but if I did, I had this as like a 9 out of 10 right now. I think it's like a lock for my year-end list. It's right up there, probably like top 2 or 3 of the year for me so far. And I've only had this for a week. I know, like, as I listen to it, I'm gonna get more and more attached to the song. So this is a high level pick for both me and Dylan. I don't know when this episode's coming out or if we had them on yet, but they're gonna come on the show one of these days. Actually today, but like I said, I don't know when it's actually gonna air. And tell us a little more about the album, because we both are really into it. Both of us, is one of our favorites of the year. So fans of No Use for a Name, Strung Out, Pennywise, which I'm pretty sure every one of you are, go check out Bridge the Gap. All right, so next pick here. This is like actually a couple on the list. I liked this album so much when it came out that I contacted the band on release day and I said, please let me put this out in the United States, because I believe it only had a German release at the time. So this is Baxter in their album Between Punk and Bourgeoisie, which they say it on the song, but I still can't pronounce it because it's just very early right now.
I thought until I heard him sing it, it was pronounced Bourgeois.
When I was typing up like the promo stuff, every single time I had to spell it, I would have to go to their Bandcamp.
I just copy paste
it because I was like, I am not going to spell this word correctly at all. But yeah, I absolutely love this album. My comparisons for it is like Sum 41 Does This Look Infected / Chuck mixed with like a little Flatliners. That's what I hear in this album. I think almost every song is good, even like the slower stuff, which I don't typically like. But just started straight from the beginning. I think Rise, the first track, is a really good song, but listen all the way through. Dylan, day one, you had sent this to me too, where you said, yeah, hey, this Baxter album's pretty solid. But what are your thoughts on it?
I like it a lot. I liked it enough to spend 9 of my hard-earned American freedom dollars on a gold-colored cassette from Punk Rock Radar's web store.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really good. I agree on the Sum 41 comparison. I like the production, and I think the whole album has a real like focused sonic sound it was going for. So I really like it. I like the artwork too, and I think it lends itself well to the format you're releasing it on. So everyone go pick this up, just like Dylan. Be a cool guy. I gotta buy a cassette deck to play this on though.
Because I'm not on Facebook, but my mom is a big Facebooker, and I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm building up all these cassettes. Can you find someone with a cheap tape deck? And she found like this big ass like JVC 90s like 5-disc changer, 2 cassette deck. So when I see her on Easter, I'm gonna bring it home so I could blast all these. Right now, I've got a real POS Walkman. But yeah, guys, if you like this, go check it out. Of course, so if you like it, I've got it on punkrockradar.com, which is gonna be a pattern.
All right, up next we got Weekend Cigarettes and their new album, The Chosen One. This is another one. I don't know if John had heard this before I did, but I sent it to him and he seemed to really like it. They're from Italy. I think they sound pretty similar to Baxter, honestly. Yep. Very, very similar sonic qualities to this album, but it's very good. It's not super fast, but good melodic punk album. Definitely has like that No Use Epitaph kind of vibe. So yeah, check out Weekend Cigarettes and The Chosen One. What do you think of this album, John?
Yeah, I thought it sounded a lot like Baxter too. I had heard the single before. I think I put it on the Punk Rock Museum. I don't remember. But yeah, I didn't. The album kind of came out of the blue. I don't know if I had it on the calendar or anything, but I hear a lot of like Rise Against, maybe even mixed with Sum 41. I think that's where like the Baxter thing comes in. But I'm actually working on possibly, most likely, putting this out in the US too on cassette. I'm working with the guys and their label as we speak. But yeah, I really like this album. The first song right now is my favorite. I like the faster stuff, the heavier stuff on here. There's a few like, not ballads, but slower songs. But overall, another really good album of 2023. Working to get this released. When I do, I'm sure you'll hear about it. Just keep an eye on punkrockradar.com. So next album, Dylan, this is another one you and I have been talking about quite a bit from the beginning. We've got Flight Kamikaze, their album Moxie. It's on Spotify now. I think it was released on Bandcamp a few weeks early. I think Regurgitate is one of my favorite songs of the year. It's the leading track on this. I picked this up from Clearview a few weeks back on pink vinyl. But Dylan, what are your thoughts here on Flight Kamikaze?
It's a pretty good pop punk album. I first heard it in February, so I haven't been listening to it too much lately, but I did listen to it a few times, and it was pretty good. It's not one of my favorites, but it's pretty decent, bordering on Ramones core pop punk album.
Yeah, so my picks of the album here are going to be Regurgitate and Competition Man, the two bookends of the album. there's a band that they sound like, but I'm blanking right now. Like we said a few times, it's very early, but I think if you like the Ramones core style with a little additional oomph, little additional aggression, I think that you'll like this little Screeching Weasel.
Maybe like the Gamuts.
Yeah, dude. Oh, the Gamuts are a great band too. I got to add them on Off the Radar one of these days. But yeah, go check out the Flight Kamikaze one. We're going to have probably Regurgitate on the playlist, but go listen to the whole album. All right, so next album we have here is Lucius Malcolm. So the front man of the band Call Me Malcolm. This is his solo record, or not solo, but side project, Past, Present, and Future Regrets. And I think this is part of the joke, but I think it's funny that the main band is Call Me Malcolm, and this one he goes by his first name. When I first saw it announced, I got a chuckle out of it. But this is pretty much Call Me Malcolm minus the horn section. It's just straightforward pop punk, very similar to the Call Me Malcolm stuff. But there's a lot of songs I like on here. I think the first three are all really good. But my picks here would be Zero Sums Game and M Hell. But I also like the next one too. No spoilers. But if you like Call Me Malcolm, definitely go check this out. I think the UK is a hotbed for ska punk and pop punk in this style, and this is one of the best of the bunch there. 105.9 Self Pity FM, another good track on here. I haven't decided which one we're going to play after, but yeah, definitely go check this one out.
Okay, next up we got all the way from the Netherlands, Harsh Realms, and their new album Cult. It's on Shield Recordings, so you know it's got to be good. It's interesting. Shield usually puts out like mostly pop punk, but this is kind of like I would say like the Flatliners. I would say would be the biggest comparison. But it's a great album. I don't think I've ever listened to Harsh Realms before this album. But it immediately grabbed me. I like it a lot. So if you like the Flatliners, the newer Flatliners, check these guys out.
Yeah, I heard the singles leading up to this, but I don't know if I listened to the previous stuff. But I need to spend more time with this. I've listened to a couple of the tracks so far, and I really like it too. What would be your choice pick from this one?
I'd probably have to go with Wolves Among Us. That was the first song I heard from the album, and I think it's the most Flatliners like. It has a real similar feel to like Inviting Light, Flatliners.
All right, so that's going to be the song that we play here. If you like it, go check out the rest of the Harsh Realms album. I was pronouncing it CVLT. I'm glad that you enlightened me there that it's called Cult. So yeah,
pretty sure it is.
If you guys like it, go click the link down below, support the band. All right, so my next pick is going to be from Brooklyn, New York. We've got Warren the Duke, their album All That's Solid. I think it just came out pretty recently, a couple weeks ago on Wiretap Records. Wiretap, another label that only signs good bands, so you know you're getting some quality here. But this band features former members of River City Rebels, Big D and the Kids Table, the Toasters, so a bunch of bands that were playing quite a bit around my area in the early 2000s. I didn't even know this was like a merger of all those bands until I sat down to listen to this from the press release. But definitely one of my favorites of the month. I think Dylan, I think both of us like sometimes the best so far in our early listening. But I've seen people compare them to like Hot Water Music. I could definitely kind of hear that, mix in some like Banner Pilot, definitely get that Ordcore vibe with this record. What are your initial thoughts from the Warren the Duke album?
Yeah, I've only heard sometimes so far. Dying Scene hosted the premiere for this, and I definitely get that Hot Water Music kind of vibe from it. So I got to check out the rest of the album. But that song definitely was pretty solid.
All right, guys. So yeah, we're gonna play a clip of Sometimes, and this is Warren the Duke. And by the way, super cool band. Even just like from a community perspective, I had asked them for some help, with connections in New York City for some other bands, and they were more than willing to help. So definitely appreciate that. It's always good to have bands that support the community. So go check out the album. I'll leave a link down below. If you like it, you can grab it from Wiretap Records.
Okay, and because we can't have a monthly best of list without an Australian band or two, we got Melvic Center. Interesting backstory. This album was recorded at Jason Wally from Frenzal Rhomb's recording studio, the Pet Food Factory, and I believe he produced the album. So this is a one-man band. We got a double whammy. One-man band from Australia. Super fast melodic punk, kind of has Midwest punk feel to it, I guess, but faster and more skate punky. But yeah, this is a great album. You could have fooled me. You could have told me this was a proper band and it wasn't just some kid who recorded everything on his own. He plays every instrument very well. So this is a great album from this guy.
Yeah, so like you had sent this to me, and then shortly after, I got an email from him, and I planned on just putting like a single on the New Music Friday playlist, and I was listening, and the next thing I know, I had 3 songs on there. It's one that I think like what you're saying is correct. Like he's really good at all of it. I thought it was a full band until you just mentioned that right now. But yeah, definitely if you're into the I think it's like, what would you say? Pop punk, but like a little faster to describe it.
Yeah, it's like Banner Pilot, but a little less like gritty, I guess. The guy's got a clean singing voice, so like Poppy or Banner Pilot, I guess.
Okay, yeah, and I love Banner Pilot. I think I've said it a few times on here. So yeah, it's like your Ordcore without the gruff vocals. So if you're into that, go check it out. Melvic Center. This is the self-titled album.
Okay, and next up on we're coming down to the wire on our albums here. We got Melon Ball from Germany. Their brand new album. I believe it's their first full-length album. I could be wrong. Breathe, out now on Thousand Islands Records. And some UK label, I can't remember who, so I'm not going to say. Yeah, this is awesome. It's fast as fuck. Real. They have a female singer. I don't think they like to be labeled as female fronted, but I don't know. It's a great album. Some of the songs, it's kind of cool. They start slow, and then after like 10 or 15 seconds, it kind of tricks you. It lulls you into this sense of security, and then bam, just fucking takes off, man. So there's some songs like that where you think it's gonna be slow, but you were wrong. It's back to fucking punching you in the face, super fast melodic punk. Kind of reminds me of like Chaser a little bit, but more aggressive.
Yeah. I still have to listen to this one. This is one of the ones I've got like a list in front of me of ones I need to listen to this week. Is this one, the Omnigone record, the Stay Out record, the Glass Wipe record. It's been 2 days, so this is one that's definitely high on my list to listen to. I am going to include Dylan just because I know you wanted to hear too one album that came out 2 days ago, because this was like an immediate drop on the list for me. This is Faintest Idea, their album Road to Sedition. Like I said, this was I had to hear it one time to know that it was going to be in my best of list. I said it before, UK just loaded with killer ska bands right now, and this band is no exception. More what I consider ska core which I'm always happy to hear some more of. Dylan, what are your initial thoughts of the Faintest Idea album?
It is excellent. Anyone who likes ska-core, especially like Suicide Machines, very political, hardcore leaning ska-core, Faintest Idea are your guys. They are a great band. This is their first album in 7 years. The last one I remember had kind of a cult favorite among ska-core fans. Increasing the Minimum Rage, I believe it was called. This one continues right where that album left off. They haven't missed a beat. They haven't slowed down at all. So, very good ska-core record.
Yeah, like as like Dylan and I, we listen to dozens of albums a week, so it's hard for something to kind of like stick out really. So I usually have to listen 5 or 6 times, but like I said, this was immediate listen one. I need to go over to Jumpstart and grab that Orange Crush vinyl because it looks killer. I do, because this is the last album we're gonna feature. So little tidbit about Jumpstart. Dylan, I mentioned this to you earlier, and I'm trying to piece together the story in my brain. But I believe like maybe 15-ish years ago, Jumpstart used to do this box that would have like a t-shirt, a 7-inch, a CD, a ton of stickers. And it was like $10 with free shipping, I want to say. You got all that stuff. And so like my whole wardrobe was Jumpstart Records stuff. I think there was like a Jaws shirt. There was Wilhelm Scream stuff, I think. And this kind of came up because I was telling Dylan that it rubs me the wrong way when you order from like a label and they don't give you like squat, no stickers, no posters, nothing in there. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm like being entitled here, but I like to get a little something, even like one sticker. And I'm like, all right, I always like shake out the record, be like, is there anything? And Dylan was saying that he ordered from Jumpstart. And what did you get with your order, Dylan?
Every time I've ever ordered from them, like you open the box and it's like a confetti of these little postcards. I have a drawer full of them in my kitchen. Like postcards for Belvedere Records. They reissued like 12 years ago. I still get those when I order from them. Stickers, center labels for records, like extra center labels. So, yeah, if you want a bunch of free paper materials, you need something to write on, order some records from Jumpstart.
All right. Yeah. And the record looks killer. They did some killer colorways. So,
yeah, it's on TNS Records in the UK, too, for our British friends.
All right. So we'll leave a link down below if I'm not too lazy. I said I was going to leave links to all the albums
It'll be linked in my column on dyingscene.com.
Okay, so I will leave a link to Dylan's column with all the links because I'm incredibly lazy.
Click that link so you can click on more links.
All right. So we're now ready to move on to our EPs.
Our EPs.
Dylan, I rely on you a lot for these because I'm an album guy. I mean, this one's an exception, but I don't really listen to a ton of singles or EPs. This one is amazing, though. We've listened to these, I think, the 3 singles before the album release. Tell me your thoughts on this Fake News EP, Take Me Away.
Yeah, we're going back to the land down under. Second Australian band. It's a great EP. Fast melodic hardcore kind of punk. Wilhelm Scream, obviously, second band I compare to them, but I definitely think there's a correlation between the two. It's excellent. They released 2 songs. They did Rise and Fall and Nothing Town were the singles, which is kind of funny. Half of it was already released before it came out, but this is excellent. Fantastic EP. Hopefully they do another album soon.
All right, so we'll move on to our second one, Primetime Failure, Oxygen. Dylan, this is one of the coolest bands I've interacted with, since I started the Instagram page. When I featured their last album that came out a few years ago, Memory Lane, they had given me some download codes to give away. They did the same with this one, Oxygen. I'm going to have some download codes. I'm going to put them down. Maybe they'll be on the screen, actually. Maybe they'll be right here if I can figure out how to do that. So if you grab a download code, just drop it in the comment. Hey, I took this one. Because I really like this band. I really like this album. I think my favorite song right now is song about Mike Donner. I don't know. I thought he was saying my daughter. I don't know if that's the joke or what in the song, but until I read the name of the song, I thought it was a song about my daughter. But Dylan, what are your thoughts about this one so far?
I think it's the best thing they've done yet, honestly. I first heard they did a single called Blueprint back in January. And I was like, man, this is a big step up from anything they've done before. So yeah, this is great. I wish it was longer. I think they fit 5 songs into 10 minutes, so pretty economical track list right there. But it's awesome. Definitely check this out if you like melodic punk.
Yeah, and the vinyl looks cool too. I think it's got like
it's got like a screen printed B-side, I think.
Yeah. I have to see
if that's also from Shield Recordings.
Yeah, it's from Shield. I have to see if there's someone from the US. Otherwise, I'm going to ship it to my buddy Johnny at Cat's Claw to hold on to it for me.
Shield usually sends stuff to Mom's Basement Records. This isn't like typical Mom's Basement fare though, so I don't know if they'll get this, but maybe ask John and I forget what his wife's name is, Trisha from Mom's Basement. Ask him if they could get some of these from Shield. Our next one, I don't know if have you listened to this at all?
You sent it to me and I listened to it a couple times. I like it a lot, but I mean, you're definitely more well-versed on it. So let me hear.
Do you agree with my assessment of it sounding like the more like poppier Suicide Machine stuff?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is Fluffy-O, I think he pronounces it. It's one. I guess it's one guy, but he has like a backing band, which is interesting. I can't remember where he's from. I think he's from Canada, Montreal maybe, but
Toronto.
Okay. Yeah, Fluffy-O, TV generation, kind of a mix between that poppier Suicide Machines. It still has kind of a hard edge to it. It's not like completely like, it's not like the self-titled Suicide Machines album, but it's like some of the more pop punk kind of songs off the newest Suicide Machines album I would compare it to. And then mixed with like some Blink-182 influence and obviously like Green Day and stuff. So yeah, definitely check this out. This is a pretty fucking good little 4-track EP from this guy.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely go check this one out. It's one of my picks too. So Dylan, last one we're going to do, heading back to punkrockradio.com.
Bias.
Maybe a little bias here, but hey, we'll let it slide. We've got the Tosca Fall. It's a double EP, but the new part is called A Little Advice. I really like the first 2 releases from these guys, so I was stoked when Johnny messaged me about releasing this in the US. I think these guys can mask a lot of styles together. There's some like aggressive parts of this. There's some like pop punk starts. So I'm into stuff where it's like angry and fast, and then I'm bouncing along and singing along the next moment. And I think Tosca Fall walks that line pretty well. So I've got it here on red vinyl. If you like it, I think I only have 10 copies left. So if you like it, head over to punkrockradio.com. If Dylan's nice enough, he'll have a link to that in his story too. But Dylan, have you listened to this one yet?
Of course, we did the premiere for it on Dying Scene. And hey, listen, man, I only premiere stuff on there if I like it. I'm not gonna attach my fucking gold standard, my prestigious name to something if I can't get behind it. So, yeah, no bullshit though. It's very good. And I like that you guys put the older EP on the B side to give people some more bang for their buck on this. And definitely they have a very mature sound. They don't just play like hard and fast like a lot of melodic punk bands. Like there's a lot of variety in the sound here, and I think it's very well produced. So this is one of the better EPs released this year.
Yeah, like little very short story. I know this video is gonna be long as hell, but I've got a record store that is walking distance from my apartment. So like I'll go and bring this stuff and I'll put them there on consignment. And the guy took this one, he starts spinning it, and he goes, "I'll take a copy of this one." Like liked it immediately. So it's got some appeal. So I think all fans of punk should check it out. Dylan's staking his Dying Scene reputation on it, so you know it's good.
Laying it on the line.
All right, so we are done with EPs and singles, guys. March was a loaded month, so there's no way we could have got all of them, but we tried. If we missed anything egregious,
maybe we can circle back, do a little like honorable mentions on next month or something. But yeah,
I think the
sheer volume was insane this month.
Yeah, there was 20 alone yesterday. I think 2 weeks ago.
The problem was so heavily loaded on the back end. That was the problem, man.
It was, yeah, dude. It was all like the 24th and the 31st. So I think Dylan's the same. I wasn't even through the 24th yet.
These bands, man, they don't know. People got taxes and shit to do, man. Like, come on, get that shit out earlier in the month.
All right, but to wrap this up, we're gonna talk about. I mean, talk about a loaded fire. The singles. There's been at least 40 singles every week, so we've narrowed it down to what 8, 9 of our favorites. So, Dylan, you want to walk us through these quick?
Yeah, we're going in reverse order here. So we got a custom order.
Yeah, I'll start though, because the first band on the playlist here is Jerk Magnet, who is from like 20 minutes from where I grew up. I saw these guys in like 2002 with Autopilot Off. They used to play at the Chance in Poughkeepsie all the time. They're back after a mysterious 20-year gap, unless they've been doing stuff that I'm not aware of, but they released a No Use for a Name cover that was really good. And this is the single Small Town Nightmare. I really like this song. I'm seeing it starting to circulate in the punk news sites, so other people are digging it as well. But Jerk Magnet, from what some people consider upstate New York, depending on where you are, you can call it what you want. But what else we have, Dylan?
All right, more Australia. That band Long Distance we talked about in our recommendation video and last month's video. This song's more poppy, like early 2000s Blink-182 feel, very different from the first one. Then we got Mercy Music. I'm going to make another Flatliners comparison. These guys definitely have that newer Flatliners feel, especially the Inviting Light. I love the song. I think it's great. Yeah. I can't wait for the record. Then we got Jughead's Revenge. I'll Be Seeing You from their upcoming EP on, you can pronounce it, John. SBAM.
Oh, S-BAM, I say SBAM. Spam. Dylan calls it spam, but I say SBAM.
However you pronounce it. This is the first single from that. Hey, spoiler alert, people. I've heard the whole EP and it's fucking awesome. This isn't even the best song on it, I gotta tell you. Then we got Not, the Descendants, all I don't want to say tribute band, but very heavily influenced kind of LARPing as all band. Alien, this is my favorite single they've released so far. They actually just released another one. They're gonna have like half the album out before it comes out. And then I'll pass it off to John for this one. I Am the Avalanche Honeybee. This kind of came out of nowhere, man. I didn't know they were doing new stuff, but I actually like it. And now that I know of I Am the Avalanche being a good band, I checked it out. I like it.
So yeah, I Am the Avalanche, I said it before, is one of my favorite modern pop punk bands. A little New York bias here for me, but I saw that they were in the recording studio. I was kind of grasping at straws on our most anticipated. I was crossing my fingers we were getting an Avalanche record. But as of right now, I've been seeing this is possibly a standalone single. I hope that's not the case, because this song absolutely rocks, called Honeybee. If you like the last album, Dive, which I thought was incredible, this is kind of a continuation of that. I think this would be one of the best songs on Dive. So definitely go check it out. Up next, Dylan, this is another one of your picks. I don't know if I've heard this yet, so walk us through this Fight song.
Fights. I randomly came across these guys. They call themselves Boogie Core, which is supposed to be hardcore punk mixed with boogie rock. Where are they from? I think they're from like fucking Sweden. They're from Oslo. Is that Sweden? I think so.
It's Norway. I think Oslo.
Okay, they're from Norway. Yeah, this is an atypical pick for me. It doesn't sound like the stuff I normally listen to. I just randomly found it. I think it was maybe on the Punk Rock Radar new release playlist, and it immediately grabbed me. It's different and it's fucking awesome. I like the guy. He's got an interesting voice, very like guttural, like screamy voice. Like, it's fucking cool. And then last but not least, bringing up the rear here, we got Frenzal Rhomb. Everybody knows how excited we both are for this record. I don't like this song as much as Where Drug Dealers Take Their Kids. Frenzal Rhomb songs, they got a few different types. There's like the short, fast one, like Bird Attack, and Where Drug Dealers Take Their Kids, and you know, that kind of stuff. I forget what the first song on the High Vis was. But the fast, like, introduction song, and then they got the songs with like different like moving parts to it, like some like slower parts, and then it speeds up and stuff. This one falls into the latter category. It's not bad, but again, spoiler, I've heard the album and this is not one of my favorite songs on it. They could have picked much better singles to go with. But it's Frenzal Rhomb. You can't go wrong with Frenzal Rhomb, so it made the list.
Yeah, we're doing our Frenzal tier list in May. I think I need like a full month to sit down with the Frenzal record. I think that May is or April, because Frenzal comes out in 5 days. I'm not going to be listening to as much music as I normally do because Frenzal is one of my favorite bands. So I'm ready to listen to it. Dylan won't share. He's very good by the rules with his pre-releases, but I want to listen to it the full through my stereo for the first time to experience it. But yeah, I like this song, but I don't like it as much as the first one. Pretty much echoing the sentiment Dylan had. It's funny though that you're right. This Fights, now that I saw it, I did add it to New Music Friday, and I think it was a random song. Sometimes I just go on Bandcamp and I'll click around to fill it up. If I have like an odd number of songs, I'll just go there and try to find some. I think that's where I found this band, and I agree with you. It mixes it up a little bit. It's some interesting styles. So yeah, Fights, Serenity Now, and Frenzal to bring up the rear. Yeah, I think we will need an honorable mention episode just because, you know, I'm slagging behind. I've never had this much backup. I think I have close to 300 songs on my list. I call it my Listen Lunchbox playlist. But Dylan, any closing thoughts before we finish this up?
If I could only find my place.
yeah, things are starting to pick up. It's shaping up to be a really good year for new punk rock. Every month we discover new awesome bands out of the blue, and now the big boys are showing up to the table. Frenzal Rom, we get the Bouncing Souls record finally came out. Hopefully more big things to come. So stay tuned for more. Check out my written column for this on Dying Scene. It's got all the links to where you can buy the records and download the albums from Bandcamp and all that kind of stuff. And thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you again in April.